الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. وبعد. I take it from speaking to Shaykh Abu Maysa that there's no one here right now that's planning on going to Hajj this coming month. That's great. You're going Hajj? MashaAllah, alhamdulillah. What's your name, Akhi? Atif. So Atif, we're going to make you the focus, inshallah, because it's primarily, something that concerns you more so than everyone else at the moment, inshallah.
I'm not going for myself, I'm going for my father.
You're going with your father?
Yeah, I've done Hajj.
You've done Hajj, yeah. But inshallah, you're still going for yourself, inshallah. Yes, alhamdulillah. Has anybody else done Hajj previously? MashaAllah. Yeah, so most of you have done Hajj, alhamdulillah. So I would like to tailor it in that case. If maybe to you're going with your father, you said, yeah?
No, my father passed away last
Allah, yeah. Right, okay. So your father passed away and you're doing Hajj on his behalf, yeah? Yeah, and you've done Hajj for yourself, obviously, previously. And when did you do that Hajj?
3 years ago.
3 years ago?
3 or 4 years ago.
3 or 4 years ago. MashaAllah. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Like, what are the reflections of Hajj? I mean, what did you get from it, brothers? Yeah, what did you make of this ibadah which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed for us once in a lifetime? Yeah? What are the recollections, things that you hold dear in terms of your time there, what you think about this ibadah? Anyone's got anything in mind?
The fact that everyone was wearing the same cloth, and the fact that there's so many people, and that's just the Hajj, who are seeking Allah's mercy and seeking Allah's reward, and you're just one amongst all those people. So how are we in comparison to the rest of creation? Are we special people, or are we just amongst the mass?
So it's like a reality check. You mentioned a number of things there, this Hajj. I'll relate for benefit of sisters. You mentioned the fact that the amount of people wearing the same garments, the multitude of people seeking Allah's mercy and salvation, and also it's humbling experience, yeah, because you're just a single person from the multitude. Yeah, and subhanAllah, Hajj has a very strong connection to the usul al-Iman, specifically Iman in Allah and Iman in the last day. Yeah. Hajj itself, the ibadah of Hajj, the 6 articles of faith, yeah? Iman in Allah, in His angels, al-Iman billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi wal yawmil akhir wal qadr. These are the 6 articles of faith, right? And it's connected across the different articles, but primarily you see it very strong with Iman in Allah, Iman in the last day. The last day, things to do with the congregation, things to do with the issue of salvation. Look at the clothings, okay, that you wear, issues of death, okay, that's connected generally to the issue of the last day, because they say that your death is your minor qiyamah, your minor resurrection, because once that occurs, there's no more scope for actions other than what comes to you via what you really put into place in terms of your children and your activities, sadaqah jariyah and so on. So without doubt, it's quite amazing. And what you mentioned about sheer multitude of people, it is something striking, because it does remind us of that day and the difficulties of that day. And we know that Allah Jalla wa Ala, that day is like 50,000 years. And that quest for Allah's salvation and Allah's mercy is very much evident throughout Hajj, and more so on Yawm Arafah. Yawm Arafah. Yeah, that's the day that, as mentioned in the hadith, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala frees people most from the hellfire. Yeah, that is the day. That is the day. And subhanallah, there's one narration of Sufyan al-Thawri, rahmatullah alayhi, one of the great scholars. A man came to him while he was on his knees, and he said to him, Man aswa'u hadha al-jam? Who's the worst of people, who are gathered here? I don't know, maybe the person is feeling that he's not going to be amongst those who are forgiven. So he wants to know what is the description of such a person, and he feels for himself maybe. So he's saying, who's the worst amongst all these people here who are seeking Allah's forgiveness, Allah's repentance? And Imam Sufyan al-Thawri rahmatullah said that the worst of the people amongst who are here is the one who thinks that Allah will not forgive these people. Subhanallah. The one who thinks that Allah will not forgive these people. So Allah's mercy is there. Allah wants to forgive. And we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala descends on the day of Arafah. We know no other text that tells us that Allah descends during the day other than the day of Arafah. We know that Allah descends in the night. But during the day, the only thing we know is on this day. Allah descends during the day. And He posts to His angels. So, what is it that they seek? They're dusty and disheveled. They're seeking His forgiveness. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives them. So it's a tremendous act of worship, because it has such great events and the activities that the muhrim, the pilgrim does. It's like no other. But the reason is because if you look at Hajj and you look at how it's been put together, it's truly divine and sublime. And there's no other program that is able to shape and mold a person, change him for the better, than Hajj. SubhanAllah, it's amazing. The person is open to it. The person is open to it, it will change them. And we know that of all the things scholars mention concerning the Hajj that is mabrur, the Hajj that is accepted by Allah, the Hajj that gives the person Jannah, the strongest indicator, they say, is that a person changes for the better. A person changes for the better. It doesn't have to be something immediate. It could even be a seed that is placed. If there is a change for the better, that's a healthy sign. Healthy sign. So it's very much connected to Yawm al-Qiyamah. And as we said, even more so to the most primary article of faith, which is al-Iman billah, to believe in Allah. Look at the different texts in the Quran and the Hadith that speak about at-taqwa, speak about establishing the dhikr of Allah. In fact, the Prophet said in the Hadith, إِنَّمَا جُعِلَ الطَّوَافُ بِالْبَيْتِ وَالسَّعِي وَرَمْيُ الْجِمَارِ لِإِقَامَةِ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. That the sole reason why the tawaf of his house was legislated, and doing the sa'i and throwing the stones, was for none other than to establish his dhikr, establish his remembrance. This is the greatest thing that occurs in Hajj, in these actions and in those occasions and those incidents. That a person is glorifying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, remembering Him. So when throwing that stone, the person augments Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, magnifies Him in his heart. And you see the greatest relationship being manifest in Hajj. Yeah? Relationship of the fact that a person is a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One stone you kiss, another one you throw. SubhanAllah. Go to Muzdalifah, spend the night there. Get up, move over, onto Mina, do these actions. SubhanAllah. The ubudiyyah of Allah, servitude of Him is displayed. And obviously that's all wrapped around the essence of our deen. Tawhid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His oneness shines in all that you do. From the talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, la sharika lak. You have no partner. Throughout all the actions. And even some of the actions which Prophet taught us what to do, some of them was in direct contradiction to the actions of the mushrikun. It was Muzdalifah days to wait until the sun had risen, glorifying their idols. Prophet would leave before sunrise. This is one of many examples. They didn't used to go to Arafah, thinking that they were too noble for Quraysh. Arafah is the greatest day. Prophet said, Hajj Arafah. In fact, the most amazing thing about Arafah is, do you know that something differentiates Arafah from the other places such as Mina, Muzdalifah, and Haram, Makkah area? Who knows? What is it that differentiates Arafah from all these other areas? Anyone know? It's outside the Haram. It's outside the sanctuary. Mina is part of the Haram. Muzdalifah is part of the Haram. But Arafah is not part of the Haram. That's why the Quraysh wouldn't go out there, right, during the Hajj. Yet that's the greatest day. Why is that? How is that? Some of the scholars mention some of the wisdoms. Okay? When they look at a sort of holistic, global view of what the pilgrim is doing and what's happening. The fact that he can't approach the land other than being in a particular state of ihram. Yeah? What does ihram mean?
Yeah. It's not ihram, yeah?
Ihram,
it's
yeah.
not what you wear, it's your intention.
It's not what you wear, it's your intention. What do you think?
It's the state of being.
It's the state of being a pilgrim,
Yeah.
a Hajj, or someone doing Umrah. Very good. Excellent answers. Yeah? People generally think ihram means the clothes. No, those are the clothes of ihram. Right? Ihram means a state. Yeah? It's a state you're in. And you get into that state, as you said, by intending to become a pilgrim. Yeah? You intend to become a muhrim. And then once you do that, then certain restrictions take place. One of them is the type of clothing you're allowed to wear. Okay? Just like the first takbir of salah is, what is it called? Takbiratul ihram. Same word. Why did they call it that? What's the root meaning of ihram? Yeah. The normal things that were allowed become not allowed. You're restricted. So you can't eat and drink and speak in salah. So likewise, when you're muhrim and you're doing Hajj, you do Umrah, certain things you can't do. For men, they can't do what? What kind of clothing? What's the restrictions for men? Now this is the misconception we need to clear up. It's not about stitching. It's not the complete picture. The prohibition is not about not wearing stitched clothing. It's about not wearing tailored clothing. And you can't wear something fashioned that has been fashioned to fit your limbs. So t-shirts, gloves, pants, trousers, they've been tailored for your limbs. That's why you just wear the two garments. Okay? It's not about stitching, it doesn't have sewing, no. It can't fit your limbs, but specifically made to fit your limbs. That's for the men and other restrictions. But anyhow, the point was, you can't even approach his house other than being in a state of ihram. You have to abandon certain things, sexual intimacy, can't be involved in the dunya to do with arranging marriages and so on. Hunting is not allowed. Yeah? And other restrictions. Okay? Once you get there, you do tawaf al-qudum. The tawaf of having come to Makkah, you straight away visit Allah's house. And you can either do an umrah, make that an umrah or not. Yeah? Then tamattu. But then when the 8th starts, where are you? In Minna. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala situates you in Minna, close to Arafah, from His mercy. Spend the day there, resting. Then the big day is the 9th. You go to Arafah. You leave the Haram area. SubhanAllah. This is what they say. You leave the Haram area as a sinner, you come back purified. That's what they mention. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes you out of His Haram in a state of sin, forgives you on that day. That most amazing day, which everyone who's been will feel it, will feel it. As one of the scholars said, the descends during the latter part of Arafah, such rahmah and barakah and tranquility that descends in the hearts that is indescribable. You can't put it in words. Can't put it in words. Because the precious and great barakah and mercy that descends. That's why as soon as the Maghrib sets, okay, and you don't leave until the Maghrib has set, people are feeling so happy. It's joy. They're optimistic that they've secured Allah's mercy and salvation, being freed from the hellfire. And then Allah brings you a bit closer, brings you into the Haram straight away, Muzdalifah. But stop, camp the night there. And then you wake up, it's the 10th of the Hijjah. Everywhere else they're praying Eid. You don't pray Eid. You've got more important things to be doing. At least 5 activities if you do them that Monday. You go straight and throw the Jamrah. Yeah. Once you've stoned, then you sacrifice. After sacrifice, shaving the hair, submission, Budiyya. And then, Prophet did what? Tahallala al-awwal. The restrictions of Ihram, all of them were removed except for sexual intimacy. Because he had stoned and he had shaven his head. So he bathed, he put on clothing, he perfumed himself, and then he went to Makkah and did Tawaf. Tawaf al-Ifada on that great day, and then the Sa'i. And then once that was done, Muslims go back to Mina. And you spend the days of Tashriq there, celebrating. Prophet said that the Ayam al-Tashriq, those 3 days, Ayam al-Shukr, Ayam al-Shurbi wal-Aql wa dhikr, the days of drinking and eating and dhikr of Allah. Yeah. Even celebration is connected to the dhikr of Allah. It's not just mentioning yourself and your forefathers and what they achieved, no. Make dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the point is the Muslims are in celebration. This is a Hajj. SubhanAllah. And what you go through, and what your heart goes through. Yeah. It's a journey like no other. It's a journey like no other. And as we said, it can mold a person and shape them. Yeah. And all the other benefits that come. Allah mentions the legislation of Hajj. لِيَشْهَدُوا مَنَافِعَ لَهُمْ, so that they may witness different benefits, observe them. There's so many individual benefits, collective benefits. The brotherhood itself is amazing. The getting to know the ummah, feeling like a single body, an ummah. So the benefits of Hajj are far-reaching. What was it, you visit and you're in those places which the Prophet was, where the companions were and so on. So there's so many dimensions that connect you to it. So the Hajj truly is a tremendous ibadah like no other. It combines every kind of worship. It's done in the days that are the best of days, the days of the Hijjah. And you are in the best of places, and you're doing the best of deeds, and you one virtue after another, blessing after blessing after blessing. So it's true. The deen is amazing. Allah from His mercy and His hikmah gives us a wide range of different activities to do. pertain to the body, some pertain to our wealth, some affect us in different ways. Some are daily, some are weekly, some are monthly, some are once yearly, in a lifetime. We're able to get so much, see so much opportunities. And the doors to Jannah are so many. Someone may not be able to be someone who fasts a lot, but he can pray a lot. Some may not pray, extra pray as much, but it gives a lot of sadaqah. With Allah's mercy, He opens the doors, opens the ways for us to draw nearer to Him and get even greater reward. So Atif, any specific questions you have about Hajj?
Nothing in particular for Hajj, just that if I'm going to do Umrah first, can I do that for myself, or does that have to be for my father as well?
If you want to do Umrah first, you're asking, can you do that for yourself, or does it have to be for your father first? It depends what type of Hajj you're going to do for your father. If you're going to do Hajj Tamattu, which is an Umrah and Hajj, then both have to be intended for him. But if you're just going to do Hajj Ifrad, just Hajj by itself, then you can go and do Umrah for yourself. Yeah? So it depends on your intention, what you want to do. Yeah? And where are you going first? You're going Makkah, and you'll be in Makkah until Hajj finishes? Okay, and when are you travelling?
Saturday, 2 weeks.
Okay. So have you decided what kind of Hajj you're doing?
No, one of my questions I wanted to ask you.
That depends on, your question depends on that. And also obviously what you decide depends on whether you need to sacrifice as well. Yeah? If you do the Hajj that contains an Umrah, well, how many types of Hajj are there, brothers? Three types of Hajj. Yeah? Which are, what are they? Ifrad, Tamattu and Kiran. Yeah? So Hajj either has an Umrah with it or not. If it doesn't have an Umrah with it, it is called Ifrad. If it does have an Umrah with it, the Umrah is either connected to it, there's no break, or there's a break. If there's a break, it's called Tamattu. If there's no break, it's called Kiran. But regardless, if it has an Umrah, then sacrificial animal is required. The big thing is, many people don't understand as well, they confuse this sacrificial animal as required with the concept of Qurbani. Yeah? They call it Qurbani. It's okay as a general word, but it adds confusion. Okay? Because the Qurbani you do on a regular basis every year, this is known as Udhiyah. Okay, that's his technical term. But the sacrifice that's required for the pilgrim is Hadi. And there are different rulings. For example, the Udhiyah, you could do a single one and intend your whole family. But Hadi, and every pilgrim who requires a sacrifice has to do one. So imagine a couple went, a man or a husband and wife. They both need to do their own separate sacrifices for the Hajj. Yeah? So there's a difference. There's a difference between the sacrifice that's required for the pilgrim and the sacrifice that you do on a yearly basis, which you're used to doing, slaughtering, and to include your family members and so on. Yeah? So important that the distinction is made. Sometimes you get people who, as a family, maybe do Hajj, and each one is doing a Hajj and Umrah, and they're making a single sacrifice. But each person needs to do that. Yeah?
Any quick questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
For dua on the day of Arafah, can you just tell us what we should be? I obviously done it, I know, but never got any details from the Shaykh on how to go around the dua on Arafah. Can you just explain it?
So dua on Yom Arafah, the scholars mentioned that there's 6 specific places where the Prophet specifically paused and made dua. 6 specific places. You know what they are? Arafah is one. Jamarat? Not Jabal Rahmah. You say Jabal Rahmah?
Yeah.
Jabal Rahmah, there's nothing about Jabal Rahmah. That's just a place people like to go to. But there's Prophet, when he was in Arafah, he just happened to be at the foot of that mountain. Yeah, according to some scholars. But it wasn't specifically intended. Yeah. Arafah is one. I thought you said Jamara.
Are you
But when Prophet ﷺ specifically stopped to make dua
throughout the Hajj?
throughout the Hajj.
Oh, right. Okay.
So Arafah is one,
Was that
and
as
the
well?
Jamarat is another. Jamarat, where? Not Miqat.
Was that Muzdalifah?
Muzdalifah.
Yeah.
Mushar al-Haram, Muzdalifah, one and the same thing. Huh? Al-Safa, Al-Marwa, one more. No, no Tawaf. No. When you see the Kaaba, no? Who knows? What else are we missing? That? There's 6. Well-known 6. I'm waiting for you to say them. Well, I'm trying to think what the 6th one is myself. Let's start again. We've got Al-Safa and Marwa. We've got Al-Muzdalifah. We've got Arafah. The Jamarat. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. The 2 Jamarat. Yeah? Because there's 3 Jamarat, right? Prophet made dua specifically after stoning the small one and the middle one. You don't make dua and stop after the last one. Okay? Prophet made it after the Jamara Sughra and Wusta. Okay? They're the ones. So, coming back to your question then, Yom Arafah. How do you spend your day? What dua do you make? Well, there's one text is related. The Prophet said, خير الدعاء دعاء يوم عرفة. The best of du'as is the dua of Yom Arafah. وخير ما قلت أنا والنبيون من قبلي. And the best that I and the prophets before me have said is, who was? لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وعلى كل شيء قدير. Yeah, so scholars say increase. You mentioned that because Prophet is saying the best that I and the prophets before me have said is this. Question for you: is this a dua or is it dhikr? لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. Is it dua? No, you have to say, of course it is, because the Prophet said, خير الدعاء دعاء يوم عرفة. The best of dua is the dua of Yom Arafah. The question is, how is that a dua? It's because of what we understand dua to mean. Okay? There's different understandings you can give a word, depending on the context, right? You know that Islam can mean Iman, Iman can mean Islam, but when you put them together, they can mean different things, right? As in the Hadith of Jibreel. Likewise, dua. Dua can mean the whole deen. Can mean the whole deen. When you pray and you ruku, that's a physical action, right? Yeah? It's a dua. You want something from it or not? Yeah? It's a dua. When you say La ilaha illallah, it's dhikr, but it's dua. You want something from it or not? When you say it. Do you say it and not desire anything? So it's dua, dua ta'abbud. It's a physical manifestation of dua. So any kind of dhikr therefore is dua. Yeah? But when we have a narrow meaning of dua, then we can say dua actually means anything that specifically inside it, you're actually saying, Allah give me something. Or Allah protect me from something. And then you say dhikr means just glorifying Allah. And then you say Quran is just reciting Quran. You separate it like that. But all of it can be dua. Just like all of it is dhikr. Yeah? So there's just a point to bear in mind. But the point is, anyhow, this is something you should say a lot. Yeah? And then just whatever you want to say. Whatever you want to say, spend time. Key thing is to spend the time making dua and dhikr. Yeah? It's related to the Prophet ﷺ. You know, imagine on that day, the prayer gave way. The Prophet ﷺ prayed Dhuhr and Asr at Dhuhr time. And Maghrib was delayed until Isha. Right? The away. What for? Just to make dua to Allah. So later the Prophet, after he led the prayer and started making dua, his hands never came down, other than once to grab, I think, the reins or something. But remind you, yeah? Making dua. Making dua. Yeah? So don't be like the people who spend half the time trying to find where Jabal Rahmah is. Went all that way to do that. Spend half the time out in the sun getting struck by its heat, and then you got no energy, you sat. Or went all the way there and had a massive portion of rice and meat and just wiped out, tired for half of the time. Wants to sleep. He's not utilizing this time properly. Yeah? So focus and be ready and make dhikr and dua. And obviously, don't be consumed by just reciting things you don't understand. Allah wants the dua that's coming from your heart. Yeah? That's the most important dua.
Would it be discouraged for people to do multiple umrahs? Is this something that people should do? For example,
multiple umrahs will come to it, Sajid.
Okay.
But the other point is Muzdalifah. Again, you see, people who don't understand. They wake up in the morning, and the biggest concern of people is what? Collecting the pebbles. Completely forgot that this is the place where the Prophet stopped. After he prayed Fajr, he remained making dua. Non-stop. Until just before the sun rose, he set off. The pebbles you can pick up anywhere. You can even pick up them up in Hurricane. Tradition. Yeah? It's a misconception that you have to do it at that point. No. It's no such thing. Right? Don't waste the opportunity by not knowing what you need to do. Yeah? That is the time for dua. And that is the time that's mentioned. Dhikr Allah, the Mash'ar al-Haram, to make that dhikr. Yeah? So there's the important time. As we said in Safa, when Prophet rose to Safa, he turned to make takbir, make dua, and personal dua, then dua, personal dua, like that, 3 times. And then he set off for Al-Marwa. When he got up there, he did the same thing. And then obviously after, on the days of the stoning, Tashriq, the 3 days, 11th, 12th, 13th, when the Prophet stoned the first Jamrah, he paused after, he went a bit forward, faced the Qibla and made dua, lengthy dua. Then he went forward, stoned the Jamrah Wusta, the middle one. Then he went a little bit forward, faced the Qibla and made dua. When he stoned the third one, he didn't make dua after that. He repeated that the next day and the next day. These are very important places. Yeah? Scholars mention specifically these places which is narrated from the Sunnah. Yeah? So, and the whole journey is one of dua and dhikr. Whole journey is one of dhikr and dua. And taqwa of Allah is mentioned again and again in Hajj. Taqwa of Allah is, when Allah mentions that the meat and the blood doesn't reach him, but it's your taqwa that reaches him when you make a sacrifice. Yeah? And Allah mentions, reminds you to make taqwa of him. Many places in Hajj. It's quite amazing. Yeah? And the issue of the heart. When the heart makes ta'zeem of Allah, glorifies him, glorifies his symbols, this is what Allah wants to see. Yeah? That's why we said that Hajj is legislated to establish his dhikr, to glorify him. Yeah? So it's quite an amazing act of worship. And obviously at its essence is the issue of tawbah. Issues of tawbah, the issue of repenting to Allah. Yeah? And the more complete a person's tawbah is, the better returns for that person, obviously. That's easier said than done. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu tubu ila Allahi tawbatan nasuha. Allah mentions. Scholars mention that a meaning of tawbah nasuha. What does it mean, tawbatan nasuha? It means a tawbah that is comprehensive. It's not partial, it's not specific to some sins. Everything, small and large, you want to seek Allah's forgiveness for. Everything. You want to be completely changed. And that's why Prophet said that the one who does Hajj and doesn't, engage in anything lewd and doesn't oppress and so on, he returns like the day his mother gave birth to him. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to secure that for us, for those of us who have already been, and for those of us who are going, to allow that to be the case for us as well. And ask Allah to allow us to return to His house. And it's an encouragement to try and do Hajj more than once. Yeah. It's encouragement. Yeah.
Multiple umrahs from Masjid Aisha.
You want to know about the same question as that?
The reason why I ask is it might be something that Brother Arthur might be interested in if he's doing Hajj for his father.
Incidentally, that brother there is also going to Hajj, so you might have a few.
Are you going Hajj as well? Mashallah, stay quiet here.
I just came late.
Oh, you just came. What's your name, Akhi?
Muhammad.
Muhammad, any questions you have?
Not so far.
You sure? Yeah.
I asked my mother.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, the issue of multiple umrahs is a tricky one, brothers, really. Yeah. The reason why it's tricky is because we don't find any actual incidents at all from the generations of the companions and others that they actually did, that they would undertake a journey to do Hajj or Umrah, and in that same journey they would do multiple Umrahs. I know the temptation is there, I know the cost is there, I know whilst you're there, I know maybe you want to do it on behalf of other people. In that light, some scholars may give some concession. Okay? Yeah? I'm not going to say no, really, but I'm just telling you the facts. The fact is that it's kind of unheard of in terms of the practice, okay, of the companions. Yeah? And even Paulus, rahmatullah, has some severe words about that. The reason why is they say, that's why they favor, they say, you're already in Makkah. Okay, this Paul says this, rahmatullah. He was like, you're already in Makkah. You want to turn back around and go out? You've already got in. Spend your time doing optional tawaf. The whole Umrah was legislated for you to come to His house. You're already there. So the ibadah which they have no difference opinion on at all, in terms of what should a person do if he has time in Makkah, what deeds should he do? It's tawaf, tawaf, tawaf. It's a unique ibadah you can't do anywhere else. Nowhere. So you do as much optional tawaf as you want. And the optional tawaf is the same as the normal tawaf, 7 circuits. And you can finish that over 2 rak'ah. Yeah? If you want to do another umrah, you can ask the scholars and some of them give a concession. And as you said, then you need to go outside the boundaries to assume ihram and come back in. Okay? It doesn't have to be Masjid Aisha. The reason why it's Masjid Aisha is because that place is Tan'im. And if you're in the center of Makkah, the shortest journey to get outside the Haram is to go to Tan'im. That's the only reason why people go there. Why go 20 kilometers east when you can go 6 or 7 north? That's the reason, yeah? The whole point is that you just need to come out with the boundary, yeah? And Tan'im is the easiest place to go and come back in, yeah? Allah knows best. Tawaf, yeah, optional tawaf. Yeah. Obviously, it doesn't mean that's all you do, because people might have to do a lot of that. And generally, you vary your ibadah. You can pray, you read Quran, but if you were going to concentrate any and think about, okay, trying to maximize a certain act, in Makkah it would be tawaf without doubt.
And after tawaf, you have to do
The 2 rak'ah, yes. Yeah. Have to is a difficult word, but it's a sunnah to do 2 rak'ah after tawaf, every 7 rounds.
If you're not able to complete the tawaf for some reason?
If you're not able to complete tawaf for some reason, it depends on the reason, how long the delay is before you resume.
I'd say you fell ill or something.
No, then you just, if it was an optional one, it's no problem. If it was tawaf al-ifada, imagine you're doing the tawaf al-hajj and you've done half of it and then you fall ill, you want to go back to the hotel, you want to come back the next day, you need to start again. But if you went for a short break, like to the bathroom and back, or the salah came and you prayed, if it's a salah came and you prayed, you just continue from where you were. Some scholars mention just continue, start that round again to be safe. Say you're in the middle of the 4th round. Some scholars say just continue exactly where you prayed from. Others say just start the 4th round again. Yeah. But if it's a long break, yeah, you've gone somewhere, you've gone to eat and everything because you got hungry, yeah, so on, hours have gone by, you come back, you need to start off again. That was best.
In terms of whether he's going to do the Umrah first, and then the Umrah will be Mashar al-Haram. So wouldn't it be the only opportunity left for him, the Umrah? Because he has done the Umrah and Mashar al-Haram, and then he has to do the Hajj in the same year, then he has to do the Umrah. Whether he will be able to do the Hajj?
You're saying if he does, is he allowed to? Is essentially you're asking, is he allowed to do Hajj Ifrat after doing a personal Umrah in the month of Hajj? What do you think?
Good question.
It's a good question.
As far as I
As far as you know.
it's the month that will be the only option that will be left. And the Fadl for those who local and Makkah.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but what we're mentioning here, the specific case, is the different niyyahs. One is for himself, one is on behalf of somebody else. You're saying still the case?
It's the same. He's doing Hajj Badr basically. He's doing on behalf of his father, which is
Yeah.
Hajj Badr. So that's far as I know.
Okay, very good. Allahu Akbar. That's a good scenario. We speak to the Shaykh.
So
What was your question?
So after the Hajj, you do the Tawaf. They call it the farewell Tawaf, isn't it?
Yes.
So after that, can you just carry on doing other Tawafs? Is that the last Tawaf? Because it's a farewell. Does that mean that you can't do Tawaf after when you say?
Well, your last tawaf will be the farewell one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you carry on doing
You
Tawaf.
do it also, your last one will be your
So you have
farewell.
to make intention that's going to be your farewell Tawaf. Is there any specific intention for that, or you just?
No, you know it's you're leaving, isn't it?
Okay.
You're leaving. If you happen to, your journey happens to not take place, and you run for another few days, alas, you just do more tawafs, do it again, and then again, your last thing should be your tawaf. No problem, inshallah. No problem.
When you say you have to do your last throughout, how soon before you leave? I mean, can you do it like half a day before you leave? Or you have to do it a few hours?
Yeah, it's difficult to standardize it, okay? But it shouldn't be too early. Yeah, it shouldn't be too early. Matter of hours, half a day, maybe, I don't know, 12 hours, maybe 6 hours, something like that. Yeah, it's difficult to come up with a number. But generally, it should be your last major activity. If you happen to, on your way back, pop in to buy something, or you need to quickly eat something, that's okay. But it shouldn't be an activity and then you go on and do another major activity. Yeah? Or whatever the case is. Yeah? 3 hours of shopping, 4 hours of shopping, 5 hours of shopping. Should try and avoid that kind of scenario.
The person who's doing Hajj on behalf of somebody else, is there a reward for him? I mean, I know it's difficult because Allah grants the reward as He will, but what is
If a person does a Hajj on behalf of somebody else, is there a reward for him?
Yeah.
No, of course, without doubt there's a reward for him. Isn't it? But you're asking, is his reward the same reward as the Hajj Mabrur for? I think there's a difference of opinion in scholars, but the key thing is that the fadl of Allah is so great. Yeah? It's not for us to assume that it's something restricted. Yeah? Yeah. Inshallah.
Can I ask, I was not here, but I asked you a question.
Yes.
About 4 or 5 years ago, I went for a competition with the group. And when we came to Muzalfa from Arafat, and we didn't stay long in. We did stay only just an hour or so. And they say that should be all right. And we walked to our tents. Is it all right?
What time did you arrive in Muzdalifah?
Oh, we reached there about 12 o'clock, after something after 12. And we left there about 1:30, 2 o'clock.
And so you only spent an hour and a half there. Why did you leave so early? The program, the package, the tour guide. What do you know why they decided to do that?
I don't know. This is at work today, it is better to work
Probably
now.
between the Russians.
Yeah, this is the problem, subhanAllah. Sometimes, there's difficulties with the tour guides and operators. Sometimes, because of logistics, you're forced to take
They were very
some.
religious there, they were very religious, but they say this is all right.
Yeah.
I think they do that. It's the opinion of one of the Americans of the Wa'afa, those that are weak, so they can leave at the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So they take the opportunity to just basically the tour
Take
guide.
everyone.
Yeah, just to be
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
first.
saying.
one.
Yeah. So the Imam is saying, because there's a concession for those who were either weak or old or involved in activities required, like maybe, to support other people, or are involved, for example, in the service of Hajj and things like this. So you have a concession to leave in the middle of the night. Not midnight. There's a difference between midnight and middle of the night. Midnight means 12 o'clock. Middle of night means the middle of the night, whatever it is. Yeah. So you have a concession, but sometimes these people, maybe because either they're lax or they're ignorant, they just apply to the whole group.
Actually,
Everyone has to go.
We were not the only people who were.
No, of course, no. In terms of groups.
Thousands of people.
Oh yeah. In terms of groups, and our UK being such a small place, we are put with the Turkish group, okay? Because in terms of Europe, they're the most amount of Hajj going, okay? So generally, when you see the Turkish Hajj, they more or less set camp for half an hour, and then they start marching. When they march, they march. Yeah? They can trample you. You just have to move out of the way. Be very careful. So it comes back down to teachings and understandings. And I'm saying some people may actually have scholars permitting this and so on. But obviously you lose out on great fadilah. Obviously some, of the view that is the mabit is wajib. You have to stay at least. Yeah,
There were very
certain amount.
religious people there.
Alhamdulillah, inshallah, everyone is religious people. Yeah, it's a problematic. It's a
I
problem.
asked them, I said, what is it? Well, he said, don't worry, we know all the evidence.
All right.
The other Imam, we use safety pins to cuff the stuff, or we're not allowed to.
Some scholars permit it. You just have to be careful not to use too many, whereby at least you're trying to make it like a garment.
So what's the proper way to use
Allah, I don't use it, but Allah.
it? When you go to Hajj, how would you...
I just, in terms of the lower garments,
Yeah.
I think many of the Southeast Asian population have the experience there. Those who wear lungis probably must have very good. You're actually asking for the real demonstration, mashallah. We don't have the garment to show, but maybe some can volunteer. Are you going for Hajj?
Yeah.
Mashallah. So he needs the guidance, the Nisa. Someone needs to show him, inshallah, yeah? Yeah?
My mother can show.
Yeah.
Show him how to do that.
You can wear belts, yeah.
You think the
You can wear belts.
Yeah.
You can wear belts.
Our mom must know everything.
Many people wear money belt.
Yeah, you can wear
So you
money
can keep
belts.
your passport possessions
Yeah.
in there at the same time it holds it up as well.
Yeah.
That will secure things.
Upper one you don't have to.
Yeah.
Just has to go.
Mashallah, mashallah. Alhamdulillah. You have any questions? No questions.
Yeah, one more question, your footwear, which is your foot will have, someone was saying that your foot has to be short, the majority of it, I don't know.
Yeah, there's difference of views. Okay, I know definitely probably the Hanaf teachings are a bit more strict on the type of footwear, and you have to have your top part showing and so on. Yeah. Well, obviously, if you are taking is a more lax view, in the sense that as long as it's not covering the ankle, it's okay, inshallah. Allah knows best. We've got about, just 10 minutes. So, are you going to drink the lunch, yeah? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
What's your thing? Can you talk about something?
You can finish first and then you do the one later.
No, he's doing that.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.
What's the ruling regarding sorting out your affairs before you go for Hajj? Where if you've done somebody some wrong or taken some money that you owe, or you have a mortgage, or with regards to that type of
And the encouragement is for a person to sort out their affairs as much as possible. So whatever they are able to achieve, if the relations are sour with certain family members, okay, it's a good opportunity. It's a good opportunity to use that to fix that. Yeah.
But it's not necessary, is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily in the sense that is it a condition for the acceptance of Hajj. But if your person is going with the intention of trying to get a Hajj Mabrur, the accepted Hajj, that's connected to Jannah.
Well, I should imagine everybody, when they go,
Exactly.
the whole
So you want to try and do everything you can do to try and secure that. And doing everything you can do to try and secure that starts from the here and now. Yeah? You want to better yourself, better relations from even now, because you don't know how that can affect it. And you don't know how not fixing that may diminish the quality of your Hajj and how Allah accepts it and so on. So it can be connected. Yeah, so there's a difference between accept, which we said when you said the word necessary. There's a difference between a Hajj that is accepted in a technical sense. A person can say, tick it off. I've done my Hajj, which is obligatory upon me once in a lifetime. There's a different Hajj to the Hajj that is Mabrur, that Allah accepts as the one who, because he does it, gets Jannah. That when you try to tick so many other things, do so many other things. So that is one. If you've wronged people, because it falls in line with the attitude of what you're seeking. You're seeking Allah's mercy, salvation. You want to come back with a clean slate and so on. So some of those things can be connected to that. The issue of debt, however, is not, it's not, it doesn't get in the way other than the fact that if you're going for Hajj means that you're going to not fulfill your agreements, then no, you shouldn't be in that kind of situation. But if it doesn't affect your normal debt going on Hajj, alhamdulillah, the issue of doing Hajj with debt is not an issue. People confuse things. They think that if you have debt, you can't go for Hajj. No. If you have debt, Hajj is not obligatory upon you. But if you have it, you can still go, as long as it doesn't affect your agreements and so on. Other things you do, things like making sure you leave a will and so on. There's general encouragements anyway, not just because of Hajj, but it's heightened with that kind of ibadah and going away and travel and one doesn't know what happens. But the will is something that the believer always should have and revise and so on. Allah knows best.
After? There's this dua that we say, there's what something of what lead to be I don't know if fully, but
رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا.
and what was the reward for that one?
The reward for saying that dua after Adhan, I can't recollect. Do you know reward? I don't know if it mentions the reward. Allah knows best, or it's just encouragement to do so. Or just
We find it in his Muslim, right?
hopefully, inshallah. No. We'll finish there. Let people pray sunnah, inshallah. Jazakum Allah. Subhanallah. Subhanallah.